Welcome to number 5, my 102ers. I'm filming this particular video before the Super Bowl was played, so did the good guys win? Did the evil empire crumble under the wings of the Eagles? God, I hope so. I have worn every Eagles jersey I own over the last 2 weeks. So if you believe in superstition, I definitely did my part. I can honestly tell you that I want the Chiefs to lose a whole lot more than I want Philly to win. And I'm a huge Eagles fan. I just cannot stand Mahomes or any member of his family. Ugh. Anyway, here we are in week 5, a third of the way through the semester, and we are well on our way to solidifying our topic and our ideas. As you can see in this week's announcement, there's really not a lot to stress about. Yeah, there are a few things to look over. See, 1, 2. And there's only one thing to do this week. Hey, that's great. So that's fantastic. We'll look more deeply into them as we go along. So I still want to show you the masterclass schedule. So starting from here, we click on the link here under View the Course Schedule. And up it comes. We scroll down to week number 5. Here it is. And you can see that we have 2 things to look at, 1 thing to complete, okay? It's easy. It's simple. So let's just get started. Starting with reading your sources. This whole document is basically a rehash of something I've taught since the beginning of my career. And I remember it being taught to me as a, junior in high school. Even more than that, like junior high, actually. The 3 stages of reading. Now, it doesn't matter how you remember it. For example, for me, it was always pre-reading, reading, and post-reading. But it falls down to a very simple set of ideas. You can see here they have made it preview, read and annotate, and reread. First and foremost, you want to skim over your sources to make sure that you understand what's jumping out at you. And what does jump out at you? Well, these are the things that are different than everything else on the page. Pictures, statistics, graphs, font that's in different colors, fonts that's bigger, font that is smaller, font that is in bold, in italics, underlined. All of that is something that will jump out at you, okay? Read the title. Look at who the author is. Look at who the author blurb is that sometimes appears at the beginning of the article, usually in smaller italicized font that everyone usually ignores. And then notice that the bolding, the section headers, the inserts, and pretty much anything else that grab your attention are there for a reason. By doing that, you'll have somewhat of an idea of what's coming. So answering these questions will also help you, okay? Next, you're going to want to slow down and really read it. Don't just run your eyes over it and think about other things. Seriously. If you're not soaking it in, you're not reading. If you have to ask yourself, what in God's name did I just read? At the end of every page, because you were thinking of the Super Bowl, or what you were going to have at the Super Bowl, or maybe if the Flyers are ever going to win another championship. You might have been moving your eyes across the page, but you really weren't working your brain for that. This is the time when you need to do both. So this is where you pay attention. Annotate or take notes. Annotate comes from the Latin annotatus, which means noted down. It literally means note. Make those notations. Ask those questions. Highlight. Underline. Look things up. Ask questions. And one more thing. Ask questions! The more questions that you can ask, the more you will look up. The more you look up, the better you will understand things. Finally, guess what? You're going to want to read it again. Go back over those questions that you've asked and answer the ones that you have already answered, as well as the ones that you haven't. Those that you haven't, find the answers to them. You will try and make sense of the things that you haven't quite grasped yet. These are the 3 stages regardless of how they are worded, and they do help out quite a bit. So down here you can find more directed questions and some ideas for stage 3, but I think we've covered it nicely, don't you? Okay, enough self-aggrandizing. Let's continue. For planning your comparative research essay right here, We are looking at 5 expandable boxes which attempt to direct you down the path of getting this thing right. So find your angle. Figure out what direction you are going to go to with your topic. Which side you feel is stronger. Which side do you want to research better? Okay? Select the relevant background information. Figure out what your reader needs to know to understand your side of the topic and the topic in general. Sometimes your topic is so detailed that you need to explain definitions and history and personalities, okay? That's the information we want. Choose the evidence to discuss. If you have a really solid topic, there is a multitude of sources out there that you will have to look through. We don't need all of them. Find the most representative sources that do the hardest work. Generate ideas for your tie-ins. We're going to talk about tie-ins soon with CSET. But right now, I want you to pay attention to what these things truly are. How we can get ourselves back in our paper. And then finally, synthesize. And we're going to talk about that, I believe, soon. So it's basically coming up with those new ideas. We have one source that shows one direction. We have another source that shows another direction. And it's our job to take those 2 directions and maybe find a way to create a third. So once that you find that you have that angle, you'll want to ask one very important question. Oh God, no, you are not asking Who Let the Dogs Out. You are way too young to remember this damn song, but it was everywhere in the early 2000s. I mean, good Lord on high. You literally could not escape it no matter how hard you tried. It was in commercials, it was in television shows, it was in movies, it was in cartoons, it was at weddings. Old people were dancing to it, young people were dancing to it. Everybody was dancing to it, and I really don't want to hear the Baha Men anymore. No, the question I want you to ask is, if I were ignorant of my topic, what would I want to have in here? That's what goes in the relevant background information. If you can help your reader get a little experience with your topic, you can guide them through the ideas that you feel are important. You can show them the evidence that makes the most sense and is relevant to your angle and start to create your own world for them to walk in. That is writing, folks. Your world building. You want your reader to forget about the daily lives that they lead and live and breathe what you provide for them. I know that sounds creepy and narcissistic, but think about the best books you've ever read. It's almost a letdown when you finish, isn't it? Finally, we only have one assignment for the week, and it's right here. I jumped the gun a little bit. Click here, and you get to this page. It's a planning document to get you started with your 2 sources for this unit. You need to clearly illustrate the links between the 2 and how to deal with your topic. So first, you're going to want to click on this link to download the file to your computer to work on. Once you click on here, it kind of looks like this. There's another template that someone else made up, but I hated it. I redid it. Now, it looks like this, and it's beautiful, gorgeous, and amazing. I mean, I don't want to brag, but I'm awesome. Regardless, the needs are pretty clear. You'll have to put the most pertinent information in these boxes up top relating to your topic. This is step 1. Find your 2 sources. Just like I have here, you're going to put your information right in here. The title and the link that you found it. Title, link, title, link. Over here, you're going to list the author or authors. Great, fantastic, amazing. Then you're going to tell me the year of publication or update. I do not want you to put the copyright date in here. That's the one with the little C in the circle. If you do that, you're not giving me the correct date. That just means that it was copywritten. Something could have been written in 1862 and then copywritten every 20 years after that. It doesn't mean it was updated. It just means that the copyright continues. Okay? So don't use the copyright date. How do we find these sources? Right down here, I want you to follow the same rules. Make sure the authors are clearly named. That means no unsigned web documents. Give me something that has authors that are clear. I will allow corporate authors. If you find something from the Mayo Clinic, that's fine. But do not just give me something that you found on Medium that doesn't have anything, okay? It should be between 2 and 4 pages. Make sure that it's not too short, not too long. It should give you something that is going to have girth to it, okay? So, a news or a magazine article. Do not give me a blog entry, please. It should convey an opinion or a stance on the issue. I do not want pro-con, nor do I want just information. I need to have an opinion or a stance on the issue. It should not be less than a page. It should not be an excerpt or chapter from a book. It should not be straight, informative, and neutral. It should not come from University Wire, because those are student authors again. And it should not be older than 5 years. That means, because I'm nice, I'm allowing you to use 2019 and beyond. Anything 2018 and earlier are automatically going to lose you a lot of points. So once you find these sources, you put them right in here, and then we go down here. Now, what do we do in step 2? This is the more difficult part, so pay attention. You are going to put the information from this box here in this box here under source 1 and source 2. Where do I put it? Right down here. I've given you a blank spot. You're going to fill in this, okay? Information here, information here. So what's the rest of this? You are going to find for me a minimum of 3 things that both sources talk about. 3 things that both sources talk about. And you're going to explain what each source's position is on that thing. For example, it asks, what is binge watching? Because this article is in defense of binge watching, and this one is problems caused by binge watching. So this one means, hey, binge watching is not a bad thing. Over here, it's binge watching is terrible. So what does Elizabeth Cohen say about binge watching? And what does Lindsay Dodgson say about binge watching? What is the overall opinion of binge watching? Okay, what is Cohen's opinion? What is Dodgson's opinion? Why do people binge watch? What are they saying? Well, as you can see, we have information followed by a citation, 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 information followed by a citation. Now, you may be asking yourself why I repeated myself so many times. I wanted to show you that I don't want your opinion. I want the author's opinions, and not only that, I want you to prove to me where you got it in the article. So look at this example here. This is the sample, and then you are going to fill out this box down here. You don't have to do all 4, but I want a minimum of 3. If for whatever reason you feel the need to go to 4, great. If you have to go to 5, fantastic. Take a look. It'll go all the way out if you need it to. You do you, but I need at least 3, okay? And that's it, folks. Less than 14 minutes this week. That's awesome. We're done for the week. Hopefully you are doing your work before Sunday. I mean, you have 7 days from the time the video drops, and it's 168 hours. I mean, technically it's 167 hours and 58 minutes since it's 61 seconds short. But still, you've got plenty of time to do this. So if you wait until the end, you're going to be missing all sorts of fun. Have a great week. See ya.